So today, my daughter and I had pretty much a mother-daughter date. We visited a florist by the name of Anderson's, which we had previously visited on yesterday. We went there with the intent of enjoying a cup of joe from, I believe it's called Pangea Coffee, which is located in there. We had visited Pangea at another one of their other establishments in Poquoson, Virginia, which is only about 15 to 20 minutes away from here. And we decided to visit their clothing area today. We did not visit the clothing area yesterday. Yesterday, we only visited the florist part, but they have a lot of unique finds here. I mean, they sell a little bit of everything. They sell some pretty interesting, I guess you can say, gifts that are a little bit spicy or could be used as gag gifts. So that's what we were laughing at right here and snapping pictures of. And we ventured on over into the clothing area. And when I tell you, they have some pretty nice items and unique finds. I mean, we really had a good time just walking around, browsing and looking. This was some kind of scented oil here. I don't know if it's actually scented oil or a body spray, but it just didn't have much of a smell. It wasn't terrible, but you really couldn't smell it. But anyway, we just kept on browsing. I mean, the clothing was some of it was unique, but they were really nice pieces. When you feel the material, they were quality. Here we go, looking at these Hawaiian brand flip-flops, which are really nice. They're expensive, but I also have a pair, and I must say they're really good. They sell sneakers. I don't know how to pronounce the brand, but anyway, they're very nice. Sneaker brand. I mean, this store had so many items. I am a big Hey Dudes person. Love Hey Dudes. Very comfortable. There's much debate as to whether they're good or not for wear, but being someone that's had 2 ankle reconstruction surgeries, they feel really comfortable on my feet, and I'm able to walk a long time with them without being in pain. I'm not sure why I'm standing in this mirror, but anyway, we continued on looking. Just to let you know, I do have a pair of Hey Dudes in my hand at this point. My daughter loves ball caps, especially unique ball caps with funny phrases. We're checking out this sweater, which was unique and kind of cute. It's different. This lady right here, though she was nice, it was just ironic that everywhere we went in the store, she was somewhere nearby arranging something. We kind of didn't know what to make of that, but we just continued enjoying our time and just really didn't read too much into it. You know, it was just odd that everywhere we went, she was somewhere nearby, seemingly needing to adjust something in the area that we were in. But like I say, instead of making a big deal about it, we just went about our way. We both had credit cards, had no intention of taking anything. And when we checked out, she ended up being really nice and kind to us. But like I say, overall, the store was really nice. We enjoyed a lot of our stuff. She was pleasant. She was not rude to us at any time. But there were some points during the visit that it did make us feel a little bit uncomfortable. But, you know, we just decided not to read into it and not allow anyone to spoil our time or turn our mother-daughter time into anything other than a good time. You know, clearly you can see there were other people in the store, but we seem to be where she lingered the most. So I'm just going to say that and leave it there. And when I got up to the register, I was pleasantly surprised that instead of me purchasing my things, my daughter insisted that she purchase them for me. And I thought that was super sweet because I was trying to buy her stuff, but she refused to let me buy my own stuff. And in there, they have this restaurant by the name of Sage, which turned out to be a really nice restaurant too. A lot of their food items are locally sourced, and like the basil and sage and thyme and a lot of things that they use, a lot of the ingredients that they use in the food in terms of the herbs comes from their florist. It is grown there, which I thought was super cool. At first, we didn't know what to think of it because there just was not a lot of people in the store. So we were like, does that mean the food isn't good? But at the same time, we had gotten there kind of early. So we were like, okay, maybe people just haven't started coming. But no sooner than we placed our order, it seemed like people immediately just started pouring in. And I must say, the food was really good. The restaurant was really nice and clean. So no problems there. Here we're just standing here because I really wanted to treat my daughter, and she was reviewing the menu. Little did I know today she was trying to treat me. But we couldn't decide if we wanted to eat at Pangea, like I say, which is the coffee shop that's located inside of Anderson's. They have pastries. They have other breakfast brunch type items. And so we knew we wanted our coffee for sure. And so we were kind of going back and forth here. You know, do we want to eat here and then go get our coffee there? Or do we just want to go over there and have everything there? Sometimes we can be so indecisive when it comes to what we want to do. So we're sitting here just reviewing the menu. And usually she puts everything on me. But today I threw it back at her. I said, we'll stand here until you decide what you want to do. So that's what we did. She finally decided that, yeah, let's give it a try. A few of the menu items seemed really good. So she was going up to the counter to place our order. And I decided to stroll around to some of the items in the store, in the restaurant. Again, at first, we were kind of like, we don't know. There's no one eating here. I don't know why we're like that. Sometimes we will forego a place if we don't see enough customers per se, but that doesn't always mean anything, and definitely did not mean anything in this case, because it turns out people just hadn't started arriving yet. This is the area in the back past the counter where we ate at. Really beautiful. The art on the wall, and that sign says Sage is beautiful. And it opens out. I mean, as you see, the windows are open to the outside. It was very nice, very clean. So here I'm just showing off that wall. I love that wall. And of course, I made my daughter stand in front of that wall before we left and take a picture in front of it. And I think right here I was waiting for her to come back from the car because we had left our hand wipes. Admittedly, we can be a bit of germaphobe. So she had gone to the car to get our hand wipes. We finally sat down at the table to wait for them to bring the food. And yeah, so that's what we're doing here, just waiting and chatting up, now that she's become a young adult. When we are able to get together and go out and have mother-daughter time, it's always nice to sit down and catch up, see what's going on with her and stuff like that. We definitely did not sit there long before people started trickling in. And actually, by the time we finished eating our food and got ready to leave, that whole area was pretty full. And on the other side, where we placed the order for the food, it was pretty full over there too. We realized that we had just gotten there, shortly after they opened. So people just hadn't started coming in yet. But again, it was a really nice restaurant and we had no regrets about going there. I think I mentioned already that most of the food and seasoning ingredients is locally sourced. And as you can see, the gentleman was bringing our burgers to us then. We had sweet potato fries and a burger. And the burger comes with a sunny side up egg. And we meant to tell them to make our eggs over medium. We like them a little bit runny, but not quite that runny. But again, that was to no fault of the restaurant. Look at my daughter snapping a picture of her food. We are infamous for snapping photos of our food. But yeah, so what she did is went and got us a tray, and we put the egg on the tray and cut it, so it wouldn't be just as runny. But let me tell you something. Those sweet potato fries were amazing, and they were piping hot. They were definitely cooked fresh to order, and they did not taste like they were from a bag. I cannot prove that, but they were so fresh and so tasty. We really enjoyed them. Had no complaints about the food whatsoever. It was fresh and everything was hot. So yeah, we had no complaints about the food and would definitely go back again. Here you can see my daughter getting up. This is at the point when she went to get us a plate, and they provided her with 2 trays where we could remove our egg. And she said that they even offered to cook us another egg, but no, we declined. That was totally unnecessary because it was on us not stating when we placed our order. I insert a couple photos of what the burger looked like with the egg and without the egg. Like I say, it was good. So once we finished our food, we headed to the other side. This is Pangea, the coffee shop that's also within the within Anderson's Floors. It is so cute. Again, it was so nice. It was so neat, so clean. The staff was amazing. They were really nice. I don't remember what we ordered. I kind of left it up to the barista because I knew I wanted something sweet, but I did not want a strong coffee taste, but I wanted something that packed a punch. I believe that's what I asked for. And he suggested a caramel type drink, and it was so good. It packed a punch. It wasn't a strong coffee flavor. And that was my daughter taking a sip of hers, saying how good it tasted and that she really liked hers as well. Again, we sat there for a little bit and we took photos and did filming in there, and they were so kind and had no problem with us filming in there. We were so obsessed with this lamp on the table, and here's what is written on my coffee. Not sure what it means, but if you ever decide to visit Pangea in the Hampton Roads area, maybe you can show this and try it. It's really good. Last but not least, we headed into the nursery again, and I was able to find me a couple of plant babies. I believe the florist told me that these are Pathos, and I got them from Pathos Island in there. And they're pretty easy to care for new plant parents like myself. So Saturday was spent with both of my youngest children. We went to a place by the name of, I believe it's pronounced Trois Le Jour. You can let me know in the comments if I said it wrong, which I probably did. It is a pastry shop that has way too many options for us, but I mean, it's one of the places that we like to go to occasionally. And I mean, they had some really good pastries, as you can see here. We are having a hard time trying to determine what we want. But yeah, so far we haven't had anything bad there. And we had a good time there. That was more like our late evening snack. We spent most of the morning looking at the NFL draft, waiting to see when Shador Sanders would be selected. So we didn't get a late start until yesterday. I'm not sure why I didn't start with Saturday, but anyway. So we're kind of going backwards because this is clearly from Saturday when we hung out. I had that last time. That one looked good too. Yeah, that looks good too. But this custard and almond pretzel pastry. Which one you get? No, I'm gonna get that matcha lemonade. I think I'm gonna get this one down here. Which one you get? I either want that crispy almond pastry or I want this custard almond. Actually, give me that custard almond. Yeah, it took us forever to make our selections. After we finally made our selections and made our way up to the register to pay, we ultimately decided that we would eat outside. Look at her. My daughter, for some reason, she would not select the first pastry. She had to select the second or third pastry for everything that we selected. But anyway, we ultimately opted to eat outside because it was so beautiful in the Hampton Roads area yesterday. It was a perfect day to sit outside and eat our treats. I will insert a picture of what the treats look like. Or there you can see it a little bit. What I was trying to do was cover them up while we waited for my daughter. Of course, my son could not wait for her. He had to go ahead and start on his treat. But those are our treats right there. I am so grateful for any time I get to spend with my children, especially as they become young adults. Yesterday evening, we decided to have dinner. I'm not sure if this is considered downtown Norfolk, but it is not too far from the Old Dominion University campus. We went to a pizza shop called Elation, and so this is like an overflow parking lot that they had, and it was a little short walk actually across the street. It took all of 2 to 3 minutes for us to get across the street to the pizza shop, and it was nice. They had live music there. Just about everywhere we've been this weekend had some sort of music, hence the reason for all the voiceovers, because I don't want to get a violation. But yeah, and so what you see here, we're walking across the street to the pizza shop. So after reviewing the menu for a few minutes, we ultimately decided on the Hive pizza. It had spicy pepperonis and some type of sweet honey on it, and it wasn't bad at all. I would rate it like an 8 out of 10, and the only reason I'm saying an 8 out of 10 is because I'm more of a savory pizza person versus the sweetness, but that's what they really wanted, so I was up for trying it. But again, it was not bad. It had nothing to do with the quality of the pizza, but me not exactly liking my pizza to be sweet. But other than that, it was, you know, freshly made. They have like a brick oven right there on site, so they're making the pizzas right there. I must say also the wait was not terrible at all. As you can see, this pizza is straight from their oven. I guess you can't tell from looking at it. My only drawback to this restaurant is their pet policy, and I can't even say for sure that it's their pet policy. I understand places allowing pets in there, but right across from us, you can't tell here, but when we first sat down, we sat in a different spot, and right across from us, the guest had their pet with them, and that was fine. It was on the floor, but they eventually picked up the pet and put the pet on the bench with them, and so the pet was kind of like on the table, had its face and stuff on the table. And, not trying to start any controversy, to each his own, but I prefer not to eat at the same table with a pet. So I'm not sure what type of sanitation they perform upon a pet leaving. And, people didn't really seem to care that the pet was at the table. So yeah, that was a bit of a drawback for me, but to each his own. I forgot to add, we also ultimately ended up getting a salad. I believe it's called Everything But the Wedge. It seems simple, but that salad was so good. They were like romaine lettuce leaves with their homemade ranch dressing, bacon bits, and tomatoes. We opted out of the blue cheese topping because I don't eat blue cheese, but those lettuce wedges, I would rate 10 out of 10. I think their ranch dressing is amazing. I would even go back there just for the ranch dressing. I forgot to throw in my lavender matcha lemonade from Trois Jours before the pizza. And if you made it to the end, I would like to say thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and consider coming back. And I appreciate you spending time with me and my kiddos in the Hampton Roads area. And if you ever are in that area, these are a few restaurants that I would suggest you try. Once again, thank you. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Have a great one.